Torah this year is entitled Daf Yomi Sanhedrin Samech Gimel. Samech Betet Gemara introduced the idea of shogeg on Shabbat. I'd like to continue with that thought. It's very, very important halacha. A person goes ahead and does something wrong on Shabbat, which happens. We all make mistakes on Shabbat. Person opens up the fridge. He says, "Oh my gosh, the light went on." Yeah, good question. Is that shogeg? What is that considered? Person puts the light on Shabbat. Person goes ahead and puts something into the oven that was heating from before Shabbat. He thinks that is mutar. So many things a person could do wrong on Shabbat. And the question is, what's halacha? As we learned in the previous shir, the rules are pretty clear from the Shulchan Aruch at least. A person violates an isser intentionally, he can never benefit from that again. But everyone else can after Shabbat. And if he violated something unintentionally, shogeg, then everyone can benefit after Shabbat. But that would mean that a person does something on Shabbat, intentionally, unintentionally, no one can benefit on Shabbat. And that can have a lot of ramifications. Whether it's opening the door, putting a light on, unintentionally, made a mistake. So is that the halacha? That's it. It's pretty strict. So there's several leniencies brought down in the poskim. One, Mishnah Berurah says, this is all in Shin Yud Ched, in the Shulchan Aruch Hilchot Bishul and Shabbat. Shulchan Aruch writes, if someone is mefashel, cooks on Shabbat, or any other malacha that he does, and he gives you the rules, and Mishnah Berurah runs with it. So, several leniencies in the topic. Number one, if it is a suffix, whether this action is usher or not. Some say it's prohibited to do this. Some say it's prohibited to mash the bananas. Some say it's permissible. So to begin with, it's a question. So maybe it would have been best if he didn't do it, because he didn't have a permit from his rabbi to do it. But now that he's done it, so wait a second. This whole kinas penalty of not benefiting from this activity that was done on Shabbat, this whole penalty is rabbinic. So if there's a suffix whether the activity is asur or not, Mishnah Berurah says suffix midrabanan. It's a rabbinic suffix, and one could be lenient and get hana even on Shabbat. That's one very big leniency. Another leniency is, let's say it is shogeg. So we said shogeg also. A person cannot benefit on Shabbat from shogeg, only after Shabbat. The Gra says, let's say it's shogeg on a drabanan. A person did a drabanan, b'shogeg. So let's say electricity, not a light. Electricity. Put on electricity. And now somehow he's benefiting from it. He's going to have the food plugged in the fridge. He thought it was mutter, who knows what. And let's say electricity is drabanan, and shogeg. Can he benefit from the cold drinks, from the fridge being cold and the ice, etc.? So that's another big leniency. If it's a shogeg and a drabanan, the gra is mekel, and the Mishnah Berurah holds that way. What if it's a doraita? Person by accident put the cholent that was not fully cooked. It was not cooked. He didn't know, and he put it back into the crock pot on Shabbat, and it's not fully cooked. It's cooking on Shabbos. The right that we're talking about. So the Gra says if it was shogeg, he really didn't know what he was doing. He thought he had all the conditions. He didn't know that fully cooked. He didn't know it wasn't fully cooked. He thought it was a lamb. He didn't know. So he did it all right to Bishul. So do we say, that's it? You have to wait till you cannot eat that children. So the Gra says shogeg on a doraita even is mutter even on Shabbat. Mishnah Berurah says that is a big, big leniency, only shas hatchak. Which would mean the children is the only food they have for Shabbat. There might be room to be lenient in such a case. Anyway, just to summarize the three leniencies that we mentioned, if there is a suffix about the Melacha that was done, Mishnah Berurah says one could be lenient and benefit on Shabbat. If it was a shogeg on a drabanan, Mishnah Berurah says you can be lenient. And if it was a shogeg on a doraita, Mishnah Berurah says in a pressing situation, there may be room to be lenient. That, of course, would have to be addressed to one's posek if it occurs. Shalom.